Good morning. I hereby call to order this second meeting of the Pennsylvania Public Utility Commission for the year 2025. We welcome everyone joining us in the room here today, as well as those joining us on the live stream. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. At today's meeting, which is open to the public, the Commission will act on various matters. Since adequate forums have been made available for the public participation in cases before the Commission, there is no opportunity for the public to address the Commission at this public meeting. Public meeting motions, statements, and video will be available on the Commission's website later today. The first matter on this morning's agenda is approval of the minutes of the meeting of December 19th, 2024. I would like to recognize Commissioner Coleman as the editor of the minutes. Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you, Chairman. I've reviewed the minutes of the December 19, 2024 meeting, and I move they be approved as presented.
You've heard the motion by Commissioner Coleman. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The minutes are approved by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary, we're ready for your presentation.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and good morning, Commissioners. Your bureaus and offices have prepared the following agenda items for your consideration. Therefore, let us begin on page 1 with matters presented by the Bureau of Audits. It is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 1, beginning with the Purchase Gas Cost Report for the Peoples Natural Gas Company, LLC, as well as the Purchase Gas Cost Report for the Peoples Gas Company, LLC, and release both audits reports to the public.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Zerfis, seconded by Commissioner Yanora. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters are passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 2, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the Focused Management and Operations Audit for Veolia Water, Pennsylvania, and make the audit report and implementation plan public.
Is there a motion to consider a staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Yanora, seconded by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a statement.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Please enter the statement in the record as though read in its entirety. This is a management and operations audit of Veolia Water, Pennsylvania. Audit staff analyzed 9 functional areas at the company and proposed 15 recommendations. The audit identified certain areas of operations as needing moderate improvement, including water operations. So Veolia's implementation plan wholly accepted 13 and partially accepted 2 of audit's 15 recommendations. One of the 2 that was partially accepted was audit's recommendation that the company should report unaccounted for water correctly and reduce its unaccounted for water below the 20% threshold. Audits notes that an accurate report of the company's unaccounted for water without the additional unavoidable real annual losses exclusion results in unaccounted for water levels that exceed the Commission's 20% threshold by an average of 170 million gallons annually. I do commend Veolia's stated commitment to continue its efforts to reduce unaccounted for water through infrastructure replacement and leak detection. However, because the Commission has not finalized any regulations on non-revenue water, I agree with audits that Veolia's current reporting is not in compliance with existing Commission regulations and does not correctly depict the company's unaccounted for water. As noted by audits, unless the Commission formally addresses non-revenue water through the rulemaking process, Veolia should not exclude that unavoidable leakage allowance from its unaccounted for water calculation. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passes by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 3, in matters presented by Director Hafner and the Office of Special Assistants, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 3, beginning with the formal complaint of SBG Management Services et al. Versus the Philadelphia Gas Works, and continue the omnibus to include both items on page 4, and including and ending the omnibus at the top of page 5 with the formal complaint of John M. Novak versus Palmco Energy, PA LLC, doing business as Indra Energy.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passes by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing at the bottom of page 5, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the formal complaint of Raman Bush versus the Philadelphia Gas Works.
Is there a motion to consider a staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Yanora. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a motion.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Thank you. Please enter this motion in the record as though I read it in its entirety. On January 12, 2024, Raman Bush filed a formal complaint against PGW, disputing the company's claim that he resided at and was responsible for a balance at the service address prior to August 2023. That was the time when he submitted a request for service. Bush testified that his minor son, bearing the same name, different middle initial, Raman K. Bush, resided at the service address during the disputed time period. He explained that he resided at 2 other different addresses during that time period. Bush did not object to the admission of the Experian credit report, which linked him to the address, but he did challenge the accuracy of the document, and he argued that it was hearsay. The initial decision sustained Mr. Bush's claim that PGW improperly held him liable for the arrearages owed prior to August 7, 2023, and dismissed the other claims. Before us are the exceptions of PGW. So here, Bush presented testimony in support of his complaint, arguing that PGW incorrectly linked him to the service address and rendered him liable for the outstanding balance. PGW then presented testimony and documentation to rebut Bush's claims, including offering that credit report, which was admitted to the record by the special agent. While Bush did challenge the accuracy of that credit report based on the totality of the facts of this case, I don't believe that Bush's testimony was sufficient to carry his burden of proof. And because he failed to meet his burden of proof, there's no need to address PGW's exceptions, and they will be deemed moot. Therefore, I move that the exceptions of PGW filed on September 30th, 2024 to the initial decision of Special Agent Marzocca, issued September 9th, 2024, are deemed moot, consistent with this motion. 2, that the initial decision issued on September 9, 2024 is modified, consistent with this motion. 3, that the formal complaint filed by Raman Bush against PGW is denied and dismissed, consistent with this motion. That the Office of Special Assistants prepare an opinion and order consistent with this motion, and that the proceeding be marked closed. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. We've heard the motion by Vice Chair Barrow. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I have a joint statement.
Commissioner Zerfus.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Secretary, I have a joint statement on behalf of the chairman and myself. Please enter it into the record as if I read it in its entirety. We've heard that Rahman Bush filed a formal complaint against Philadelphia Gas Works, stating that PGW improperly held him responsible for all arrearages at the service address by linking him to the service address through an Experian credit report. PGW is requiring Mr. Bush to assume a $5,227.35 bill, calculated from December 28, 2021 through November 2023, to have service placed in his name. Mr. Bush avers that he did not live at the service address until August 7th, 2023. So since November of 2021, the gas bill for the service address was in the landlord's name. The special agent in this case determined that Mr. Bush did meet his burden of proving that PGW improperly held him liable for all arrearages since the December 2021 bill, and that Mr. Bush was not responsible for any outstanding balance at the service address prior to August 7th, 2023. The special agent's determination is based on Mr. Bush's sworn testimony that he did not reside at the service address prior to August 2023. PGW filed exceptions to the initial decision on September 9th, 2024, arguing that PGW properly used a credit report to establish that Mr. Bush resided at the service address before the August 7th date. Based on our review of the record, we find that there is still an open question regarding whether Mr. Bush is responsible for the outstanding balance at the service address before August 7th, 2023. The reasonable course of action under the circumstances in this case would be to remand this matter back to the Office of Administrative Law Judge on the limited issue of financial responsibility for the charges accrued from December 28, 2021 through November 23, 2023. We should follow a prudent procedural process by permitting Mr. Bush to provide additional testimony and/or documentary evidence to support his claim that he did not reside at the service address for the period in question. And the special agent then can weigh both the complainant's and PGW's evidence before determining that Mr. Bush is responsible for an amount that exceeds $5,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Zerfas. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no.
No.
No. Matter passes by a vote of 3-2, noting the dissents of Commissioner Zerfas and myself. On the matter as amended by the motion, is there any objection to taking the previous roll call? Hearing none, matter passes as amended by a motion by a vote of 3-2, noting the dissents of Commissioner Zerfas and myself. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 6. It is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed opinion and order in the application of Green Transportation Service, LLC.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfas. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passes by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing at the bottom of page 6, it should be noted that the application of Norfolk Southern Railway Company and the petition for reconsideration filed by Veolia Water has been withdrawn by the Office of Special Assistance. Turning to page 7, and matters presented by Director Diskin and the Bureau of Technical Utility Services, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion both items on page 7, beginning with the letter of notification filed by American Transmission Systems and ending the omnibus with the application of U.S. Power Trade, LLC.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Coleman, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 8, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed order regarding the application of the Peoples Natural Gas Company, LLC, to acquire pipeline facilities.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation? Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Yonora, seconded by Commissioner Zerfas. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I have a statement.
Commissioner Zerfas.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Secretary, please add my statement to the record as if I read it in its entirety. For the Commission for consideration is the application of Peoples Natural Gas Company, I'll call them Peoples, requesting approval to acquire certain pipeline facilities from Big Dog Energy, I'll call them Big Dog Energy. Big Dog Energy currently owns a 27-mile stretch of pipeline known as the M19, which runs from the Pennsylvania border through Greene County near Waynesburg Borough. Peoples is requesting Commission approval to purchase the M19 pipeline, its connecting laterals, nearby pipelines within the M19 area, and the related rights-of-way. Big Dog Energy has utilized the M19 system to gather natural gas production and transport it to the Equitrans interstate pipeline network. Big Dog Energy has stated that if the sale of the M19 system does not proceed, they will discontinue its operation. Peoples currently serves 29 farm tap customers on this M19 system, but if Big Dog Energy discontinues operations, these customers will lose access to natural gas service. The M19 system intersects with several of Peoples' existing facilities, and if Peoples acquires the system, not only would they maintain service for these 29 farm tap customers, they could offer additional gas supply sources to other customers along the system. The transaction between Peoples and Big Dog Energy is reasonable. It utilizes an arm's length agreement with an adjusted sales price of $50,000. Peoples estimates that extending its own pipeline facilities to serve the 29 existing farm tap customers in this area would have cost them approximately $800,000 per mile to construct. Farm taps consist of privately owned natural gas pipelines and related equipment located downstream of the meter, all of which belong to the landowner. These systems are commonly found in rural areas, often encompassing agricultural land. Agriculture in the U.S. is one of the largest consumers of natural gas. In addition to benefits received from other forms of gas like biogas, renewable natural gas, and/or biomethane, natural gas is important to farm operations because it can power machinery, farmhouses, and other related buildings. It can be used for irrigation, greenhouse heating, grain drying, and for the transportation of products to markets. I understand that these important intersections exist between energy systems and agricultural practices, and appreciate the vital role agriculture plays in our Pennsylvania heritage and our economy. So whether this specific transaction involves agricultural land or not, it remains important to keep the needs of our rural communities in mind. So I want to commend Peoples' commitment to ensuring continued natural gas service to these service areas, and I agree with Tessa's recommendation to approve the application. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Zerfus. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passing by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 8, it is recommended that the Commission adopt in an omnibus motion the remaining item on page 8, the letter of notification filed by the Keystone Appalachian Transmission Company, and continue the omnibus to include both items on page 9, ending the omnibus with the suspension of the tariff supplement filed by the Pike County Light and Power Company Gas Division.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 10, and matters presented by Chief Counsel Screven and the Law Bureau, it is recommended in an omnibus motion that the Commission adopt both items on page 10, beginning with the approval of amended bylaws for the Damage Prevention Committee, and ending the omnibus with the petition for emergency or expedited order, approving temporary modifications to the Universal Service and Energy Conservation Plan of the Philadelphia Gas Works.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendations?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Unora. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matters passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 11, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the proposed order regarding the petition filed by Starlink Services, LLC.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Zerfus, seconded by Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion? I do have a statement, a joint statement in this matter with Commissioner Coleman. We asked that our motion be entered into the record as though I read it in its entirety. Before the Commission today is the disposition is the July 9th, 2024 amended petition of Starlink Services, LLC to relinquish its designation as an eligible telecommunications carrier, or an ETC. No petitions to intervene or comments were filed in this matter. Starlink was originally granted provisional ETC status by the Commission on August 26, 2021. ETC status enables Starlink to receive federal high-cost universal service funding for the provision of telecommunications services. Starlink was awarded over $63 million in the Federal Communications Commission's Rural Digital Opportunity Fund, or RDOF auction, allocated for Pennsylvania, wherein Starlink would provide services in nearly 60,000 locations in the Commonwealth over 10 years. Ultimately, however, the FCC subsequently denied Starlink's application for RDOF funding. As such, Starlink would not be able to provide the services in Pennsylvania it originally intended, and now seeks to relinquish its ETC designation. We support granting Starlink's petition to relinquish its designation as an ETC in Pennsylvania. Starlink's petition satisfies the relevant standard for such relinquishment. However, we write to note the missed opportunity for the use of $63 million in federal funding that could have been used in Pennsylvania to provide telecommunications services in high-cost areas. This is a significant amount of money. This commission will explore what additional steps, if any, can be undertaken to help ensure that the $63 million previously allocated to Pennsylvania can remain in Pennsylvania. Doing so would be consistent with the resolution passed by the National Association of Regulatory Utility Commissioners at its Winter Policy Summit in Washington, D.C. in 2023, as well as prior efforts of the Commission to retain similar federal funding designated for Pennsylvania. The Commission must continue to explore all available opportunities for funding of important telecommunications services, especially in high-cost areas. Any further comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Turning to page 12, in matters presented by Chief A.L.J. Rainey and the Office of Administrative Law Judge, it is recommended that the Commission adopt the recommended decision of A.L.J. Haas and A.L.J. Arnold in the petition filed by Community Utilities of Pennsylvania.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chair Barrow, seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Continuing on page 12, it is recommended that the Commission adopt A.L.J. Dunderdale's recommended decision in the joint application of the Pennsylvania American Water Company and the Audubon Water Company.
Is there a motion to consider the staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Unora, seconded by Vice Chair Barrow. Any discussion?
Chairman, I have a statement.
Vice Chair Barrow.
Please enter my statement into the record as though read in its entirety. I will not read it. I'll just say I often tell you guys why I think certain acquisitions are not in the public interest. This one, I believe, is, and please see my written statement as to why. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Barrow. Any further comments? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
And finally, turning to page 13, it is recommended that the Commission adopt A.L.J. Johnson's recommended decision in the joint petition filed by the Citizens Electric Company of Lewisburg and the Wellsboro Electric Company for approval of their joint default service plan.
Is there a motion to consider staff recommendation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Coleman, seconded by Commissioner Zerfus. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Matter passed by a vote of 5-0. Madam Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes all items to be considered today.
Thank you. Before we adjourn today's meeting, I would like to recognize Commissioner Zerfus for some retirement remarks. Commissioner Zerfus.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know it's customary for the chairman to offer remarks for retirement, so I appreciate your latitude in allowing me the opportunity to recognize Kathleen Kate McMullen, who is retiring from the PUC, from my office, but also from Commonwealth service, which has been over 33 years of public service. Kate started her career as an intern for PA Senate Minority Leader Ed Zemprelli, and then worked in the House of Representatives for 30 years. She was the Constituent Services Director for Representative Keith McCall, who then became the Speaker of the House, Representative Frank Dermody, who served as a minority and majority leader of the House, and a research specialist for Speaker of the House, Joanna McClinton. Her last few years of state service has been with us here at the PUC. It's worth mentioning that in the late 80s, she first worked for one Jim Colley, who is a special guest with us here today, and helped monitor and report on the Pennsylvania legislature and the PUC. Kate has come full circle back to the PUC and is said to be very grateful to have this experience. On a personal note, Kate and I have known each other for over 20 years. She is literally the second person that I met in Harrisburg when I was an intern in the PA House of Representatives and assigned to work for then Representative Keith McCall. She was my supervisor, and she guided me through a process where I had to write my own piece of legislation. She was a fantastic supervisor and a mentor. She explained how to conduct research, interact with government officials, and how to write legislation. And I will tell you that the legislation that I wrote under the guidance from Kate became law. It took 7 years to get there, but it eventually became law, and I think that's under the threshold. Usually it takes like 8 to 10 years for a bill. Kate and I have had a fantastic relationship over the past 23 years. According to Kate, sometimes she was the mentor and sometimes she was the mentee. But we were always there for each other, personally and professionally. She has given me advice on jobs, helped me perfect my resume, and has edited countless speeches and presentations for me. She was also at my wedding. She held each one of my babies, and she has looked out for me in a way that no one else has. How fantastic it has been to have a friend like Kate as I navigated life's many challenges and rewards. Kate encouraged the development of the internship program here at the PUC. She's always been very active in encouraging mentorship and internships. She remarks that the work that she has done in this space has been very rewarding to her. She has mentored numerous interns over the years, me being one of them. I'm not sure if I'm her favorite, but I'm gonna hope it's top 3 maybe. Many of Kate's former interns have excelled. One became a House parliamentarian. One is a Wall Street investment broker. One is a PA House Finance Committee director. One is a Spanish translator for the Pennsylvania House Democratic Caucus. And one is soon to be a U.S. Department of Defense assistant. She's with us here today to offer Kate her good wishes. That would be Gracie Price. Each one of us may have arrived with a fire in our bellies to do good work, but Kate is the one who helped us all reach our full potential. All of us would agree that we wouldn't be where we are today without her. She did not want to speak today. She says that my speaking on her behalf is the best send-off gift. We do talk about her plans, and she likes to invoke one of her favorite history writers, David McCullough. When he would speak to groups, he would say to the audience to encourage them to go out and live history, be part of a great experiment, to reach out to a child in the 5th or the 6th grade, teach them about books or history or language, to read books on history, take a walk in your hometown, learn its history, or learn to draw, and everyone should try. It falls along the same path that Kate would like to take, to read books, and she is going to volunteer at her local elementary school, Ben Franklin Elementary School, to help our young people. All are welcome to join her, and she's always encouraging us to volunteer and come into the classroom with her. So Kate, from your office mates, everyone says it has been a pleasure to have you work with us and to have you with us all this time. For me, it has been an honor and a privilege to work with you over the past 23 years and to call you my friend. Getting a little teary-eyed here. We hope to hear all the good books you read or plan to read, all the fun things that you're doing, the travel that you do, and how your classroom work is going. So congratulations on your well-earned and well-deserved retirement. And since Kate's first job out of college, or one of her first jobs out of college, was working with Jim Colley, I thought it would only be fitting for our former PUC chairman colleagues to present Kate with her parting gift. So Kate, if you can please come up to the front, and Mr. Colley, if you would please do us the honors. Come up here, right in the front. We want to take pictures, right? So right here in front of the seal. Mills is going to take your picture. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Colley. Congratulations, Kate.
Thank you.
And before we end, Kate, one of the things I would add, congratulations in your retirement, but, we see how legacies last. So, Katie's now in charge of our internship program here at the commission, and that all goes back to your mentorship as her, so many years ago.
I want to say it in the mic, not that many.
But it shows how that legacy continues. So congratulations. Wish you all the best in your retirement. And before we close, I would like to take a moment to reflect on the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday that we observed on Monday, January 20th. The federal holiday is designated as National Day to remember and honor the civil rights leader's life and legacy. It's also the only federal holiday recognized as a National Day of Service. Many Pennsylvanians chose to spend January 20th as a day on, not a day off, by finding ways to help their neighbors and communities. This call is consistent with the National Association of Regulatory Utility Commissioners' annual observance of Martin Luther King Jr. Day that began with a resolution in 2008 designating the holiday as a day of utility service. This year, NARUC's Day of Utility Service focused on the slogan, "Anyone can serve, so let's conserve." NARUC encouraged Americans to turn down their thermostat, weatherize their homes, change their incandescent light bulbs to energy efficiency light bulbs, and install water-saving devices, and to not only do these initiatives in their homes, but throughout their communities. As NARUC President Tricia Pridemore said, service is a vital thread that holds our communities together and makes them stronger. NARUC encouraged individuals to use this day as an opportunity to discover how to make tangible connections in their communities through service. These are appropriate words to keep in mind not only on one day of the year, but on every day of the year. And with that, if there is no other business to come before the commission, is there any objection to adjourning? Hearing none, we are adjourned.